Hi guys, it's Poober here for episode 31, and I have so much I've got to get done in today's episode. I'm basically thinking of it as kind of a chores episode because I've got this still I have to move. I've got power I'm going to have to start thinking about improving upon. I've got smelters to expand upon. My ore and plate production isn't keeping up quite as much as it should be, therefore my science is lacking. Therefore I'm kind of just behind on everything, so it's about time we get caught up. So let's start with something easy first, just to hopefully boost morale, thinking that I'm already getting a lot done. But you'll notice here I am just so lacking in my resources, so I'm going to have to optimize the cars, which I knew would be a big deal that I've got to do. I've also got to improve on the production like I talked about at the intro, so I think there's one thing I can easily get out of the way though, and that is moving this armory section thing like I've been meaning to do for like 8 episodes now. Because this needs to go up just a couple tiles so I can make room for another car belt bus thing line to go from right to left. So basically from this right circle over here to the left circle. That way, when it's all said and done, each circle will have an entrance and an exit going into and out of adjacent circles. So everything should be covered. That means basically any car could get to any circle from several different directions. And that'll be a good thing. That means we have so many more possibilities for resource delivery. But the crappy thing about this is that I have all of these things in storage. Not so bad right there for ammo. So maybe now is a good time just to get this done because I'm not too jam-packed on my supplies in here. I didn't go crazy on my caps or anything like that. So that shouldn't be too bad. I think the worst part of it actually will just be the fact that there'll be tons of products on the belt here that we'll have to find a home eventually, but we'll recycle it. So I think step 1, let's definitely blueprint this for sure. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. And we can even get the pipes in here, I suppose. We'll just do the whole thing. Looks good. I'm going to save that there just for easy keeping because I don't know if I'm going to have to blueprint something else in the meantime. One crappy thing is that I may have to move this junction up, or at least keep the junction but have this belt line travel upwards and then make a 90-degree curve like around at this point. And then same with this scenario over here. Okay, so let's start just destroying everything without destroying the cars first, because if we destroy the cars or the belt lane there, then we're just going to get a bunch of cars backed up, and that's not what we want to do. Okay, here goes nothing. I hate destroying this type of stuff, but let's do it. It's got to be done. There's been worse things to happen in Factorio. I do still have to come up with kind of like a semi-plan B for the bot build thing over here. Or I suppose what I can do since... Oh, whoops, I meant to disable my RoboPort. We can do that now. One thing I can do is maybe just make it smaller. Like undo the delete thing and just squeeze the shotgun shells closer to this ammo section, but then we'd have a lot of room on either the left or right side. And honestly, this kind of is the perfect spot to have a robot frame factory. I mean, it just might as well. Like, where else am I going to put it? I mean, I suppose I do have solutions or possibilities of putting it like at other parts in the circle, but heck, we've already built into it, so we might as well just keep it. There we go. I've already talked myself out of that. Let's keep moving on. I want to get lots done today. Lots of the boring things that I meant to do off camera, but I didn't. And I do want to keep you guys as updated on what's going on as much as possible. So yeah. All right. Let's let the bots do their thing over here. Let's definitely make sure though that they have robot coverage. Good. They'll have all 3 of those. We'll let them slowly just tear this apart. Hopefully I have enough storage, which there maybe kind of will be. If not, I'll add some more around here somewhere. Maybe I'll do that now just to be on the safe side, just in case. Let's add storage there and there. We'll do another 2 just in case. There we go. All right, so we'll have 8 more storage boxes. We'll get rid of those storage boxes eventually once we can start recycling this stuff. So we'll let the bots do their thing, and we'll be back once it is time to reinstall it. All right, so we're essentially back to a clean slate in this area over here. I do want to make sure I wait for these cars to make the rotation along this belt here before I completely destroy it and then have to destroy the cars. But essentially what I plan on doing is literally taking the blueprint that we just ripped up and replacing it just a few more tiles upwards. You can see that I've already added in the belt kind of placeholder here. This I've been leaving, I think it's 5 belt tiles in between like the walkway here and the belt bus thing. And that way I have definitely enough room for the robo bays and electrical poles and things like that that I might need. The problem with this though is that I do have to join this up over here to this side, which is also where I had delivery of iron plate and copper plate that was going into my battery section. So I'm gonna have to redo the unloading section for those plates, but otherwise, if I didn't place this belt line here, the other option would be to have it placed like going from right to left at this point where my cursor is and going through the artwork, which I didn't want to do that. So I'd rather cut my losses and just do it up here. So I think, let's see, the cars are still very slowly making their way in that direction. But I could probably help them out a little bit by getting, let's see, we'll be getting rid of the power. Help me at all. Yes, there we go. That speeds things up a little bit. So we can get rid of these thingies here. Those cars accidentally already got onto the lane here. I put in the junction thingy over here already. We're going to replace this. Instead of having a pistol, we're going to have the small electrical poles there, and then we're going to change that small electrical pole there and buffer with 1. There we go. So that way it should be ready to go. Any cars in the circle, therefore, that have a small electrical pole will instead bypass the little junction here and go left. This one did not go left because it did not have a small electrical pole. All right, so things are working as intended. The cars are zipping by now. And I think that means we can go ahead and replace that blueprint. Or I guess we'll do that in a second. Let me like cut off that right there. Okay. And then we can use the bots to get rid of the rest of it. There we go. All right. So much hard work just to literally place something a couple tiles more north. What a shame. Let's get rid of this thing and that, and we'll just make room for everything we could possibly need. All right, looks good to me. We've got the blueprint here. So I am gonna have to make sure that I have enough, like, distance between my passive provider boxes here at the bottom of the blueprint so that the cars can still bypass them and not get stuck. So I think let's go up 1 more tile. I think that should be plenty of room, and it looks like that's how it was lined up before, so there we go. Like I said, a lot of hard work just to move up a couple tiles. I know it's only been maybe a minute or 2 in between the destruction phase and placing phase for you guys, but this has maybe taken me half an hour just to get all of my very slow construction bots destroying everything. In fact, I only have, what is it, not even 140 in my network right now, and they're all busy doing projects around the base. They've been filling in the artwork here with some cement, which is good. They've been constantly repairing walls and laser turrets and stuff over here to the south, so they are constantly being kept busy. But now I think we're going to do another intermission, at least in terms of this project here, because at this point, we're going to let the construction bots again start to replace this factory now that it is a couple tiles moved up. And I do want to work on project number 2, which is actually something I started working on off camera while I was waiting for that to get deconstructed, and that is the construction of a wall. It is about time that I get a proper perimeter defense. Not even that this is really a great defense at all, but I'm worried about using too many laser turrets around the base when I don't have a whole lot of energy production right now. So plan B is just to get regular gun turrets with requester boxes next to them with about 20 bit of ammo in the requester slot, and those will feed into the gun turrets along the way. Eventually we'll upgrade this, make it look nice, and we'll probably get rid of the wall entirely and replace it with a different configuration at some point in the future. But this will be a good middle point there, just to help me be a little bit more secure around the base, since I do still keep getting attacked very frequently. So having a little bit of a reprieve would be very nice. Let's get rid of that. Before I get to that though, let's join this up somehow. Let's see, I need the joiner up blueprint thingy, which that's this little section there. Like that, sure. Oh, I'm gonna have to get rid of more than I thought to make room for everything. Unfortunately, these junctions are not very compact, or at least not as compact as I would like them. So they need to go, that needs to go like that. And then I'll see if I could move this bit of circuitry around as well. Oh man, that needs to get moved as well. I just have so much to move, so much to fix. I'm gonna have to replace all of these wires. This is just the not fun stuff, you know, that I was putting off because I didn't want to do it, but they're necessary, unfortunately. Let me rehook the wires before I forget. At least I can rehook some of them. Okay, we'll hook in the rest later. Bots will add this in just a minute too. That goes like that. Hopefully that goes properly onto that portion of the belt. I may need to adjust that a little bit. Oh gosh, look at this traffic jam that I've got here though. I think I'm gonna make it easy on myself. Have this go upwards. There we go. We'll try that. Of course, not all of the belts filled in. Looks like the wire's already hooked up, which is good. And then it'll finish getting hooked up there. All right, I'm going to leave this project to the devices of the bots. Let's keep moving on now to the walls. As you can tell from the sped up clips, I spent quite a bit of time putting in a new perimeter defense. I'll be honest, it's not the best thing in the world. It still gets destroyed pretty frequently by even the littlest spiders, and I'm beginning to get the upgraded green biters over here, the behemoths, which are definitely going to be more problematic than I think what I could defend. But all I have here is basically some gun turrets. They don't even have all of the upgrades that you can get on them. I don't have the research capabilities for that quite yet, but that will happen one day. But I'm mostly walled in at this point. I'm still missing quite a few turrets and laser turrets and stuff still around the base because I just don't have enough products and plates coming in to build them. So that will be a priority, but I know before I can really worry about increasing plate production of any kind, I'm going to have to worry about electricity first because I'm beginning to run a little bit low on that as well. Most of the time I'm up closer to about 90 megawatts getting used. This is not quite accurate, I don't think, to represent the full scale of the electricity that I've been using most often. So I think electricity we're going to focus on next. Before we get to that though, let me show you what I did up here more to the north. These are still ghosted in, but those will get placed down eventually. But up north, I'm actually now beginning to make use of the flamethrower turrets because I did have some light oil not in use. So this helps to balance out the fluids a little bit better and also makes use of the flamethrower turrets that I already had in stock. So that helps to mitigate the situation a little bit. And it's helped some. You can see there's a little bit of trees that were on fire because they have been killing things as they come in. But long story short, I'm feeling at least a little bit more secure than I did at the beginning of the episode. So now on to power. I'm still basically running off of this little steam engine setup over here, and eventually I'm going to be running out on coal. I've tried to supplement coal a little bit by my coal farming area all the way up here, which is quite a long distance away. And it's just not the most energy efficient thing to use steam engines, especially towards the mid-game like I'm kind of in right now. What I think I'll do, I probably can't get away from completely going steam engine free. In fact, I may have to add to it a little bit. I think I might have enough coal to supply at least one more line, but I should probably think about switching to solar at some point, and I think the point is now. So I have a solar panel array thing that I borrowed from Reddit. Credit to the solar panel array goes to N Coder, who posted this a couple years ago, but I think it's still pretty relevant. And it looks nice and it's symmetrical, so it should be easy to use. There will be robo coverage, so the bots can easily place it down for me. And I just need to find a place to put it. Thankfully, now that I have at least a couple walls, I have enough room maybe in this area over here just to start putting down some arrays. And I don't think anything else will need to go here. I do anticipate this solar panel array to be temporary because eventually I'll have it actually be something either I design or something really kind of that goes into the aesthetic of the entire thing. Eventually, I think the shape of the base will be more rectangular, more horizontally, so we'll have arrays probably over here and kind of surrounding the entire base along with some perimeter walls down the line. But until we get to the point where we can do that, this will have to suffice. So let me make sure I have room just in case for clearance of more steam engines and stuff like that over there, which I think if we start about here-ish, that should be good, and it should give me enough space to walk through and stuff like that. So let's just keep going. I do have solar panel and accumulators in the base. I'm not sure how much, but let's start with like doing 4 by 4 or something like that. I'm not even sure how much this will give me. I'm sure it's better than nothing though. But once we get electricity increased at least a little bit, we can maybe start switching to improvements for the smelters. Maybe not quite ready for electric smelters yet. I don't know if we'll have the energy capabilities quite yet for that until we get maybe the Covarex enrichment processing and then uranium fuel, which I'm trying to research. It's just taking me a long time. And part of the reason why it's taking me a long time is because I'm out of resources. And again, it's just like a constant feedback loop of all of these things that are bottlenecks for the factory. But as I was saying, so we may not be able to do electric smelters, but we could probably at least add different rows for steel smelters at the very minimum. But that looks like a good start to me. Let's disable my RoboPort, my personal one. Let's make sure that we have bot coverage, like connecting right here. There we go. We'll put in power here, so then the bots will be able to help fill this in. And then I'll be back once this is done. Well, like most things in Factorio, the solar panel and accumulator array took much longer than I anticipated. But the benefit to that is that it ended up taking me long enough that I was able to get all of the turrets, including the laser turrets, flamethrower, and the regular gun turrets all built and installed. They all now have ammo as far as I know, and I was able to fill in much more. It looks like we're technically missing a power pole there, which I'll fill in here. But this entire thing now has radar coverage, it now has robo coverage, and it's just much more defended than we were at the beginning of the episode. So I'm considering this a success. Even though it might not look like a lot was done this episode, it really was. We've got now this entire 4x4 solar array. We have tons of potential now for energy production. We're only using maybe an eighth of the max of what we can produce, which would be really good. So this is really a good setup for next episode, for episode 32, where it's not so much an issue in next episode for adjusting the smelters or upgrading the smelters, but more increasing the throughput of the ore coming in. So we may have to end up doing trains or end up busing in some more ore via some belts from somewhere. That will be determined at next episode, so I hope you guys will join me for that. And thanks to you guys, as always, for joining me for this one. Let me know what you think about the factory in the comments section down below, and I'll plan on seeing you guys next time.